Hello, so I'm making this video to help any parent or student to help solve addition and subtraction problems. I have several strategies that I'm going to show you for addition and for subtraction. So please follow along. If you have any questions, feel free to ask your child's teacher for help. Alright, so the first strategy I'm going to show you is the place value chart for addition. So we call them TO charts or HTO charts. It just depends on what we're working with. So I'm going to show you how to add using a place value chart. So we're going to do 86 plus, sorry, 49. So because I know what the answer is already, I know I'm going to need an HTO chart because I'm going to have hundreds, tens, and ones. So HTO. Now I know this because I know what the answer is, but some kids won't know to use HTO. So when I'm adding on a place value chart, I draw my numbers. So I have my tens and my ones, my tens and my ones. So if you look at the numbers here, I don't have any hundreds, but when I bundle, I will have hundreds. So now I'm going to draw the numbers. So I'm going to draw 86. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens and 6 ones. There's 86. Then I'm going to draw 49. 4 tens and 9 ones. So, the old school way, the way I learned when I was a kid and the way you probably learned, was stacking them on top of each other and just adding. This is the same thing. It's just a visual to help them understand what's happening. So, here we have 6 and 9. I know that 9 is closest to 10, and I need to bundle a group of 10 ones. And I need to bundle this because I can't keep this many ones in the ones place. I've got to bundle them and move, as I tell the kids, move it over. So we're going to move it. Now these 10 ones have now become 110 because 10 ones is equal to 10. I have 5 left over. And then I've got to count my tens and see what do I have left. I see 8, and I know 8 and 2 make 10. So I'm going to bundle 10 and move it to the hundreds place. I cross those out because those are not tens anymore. They've now become 100. And then I have 1, 2, 3 tens left. And then I have 100. So this is using the place value chart, or HTO. That is the first strategy, the main first strategy that we use in second grade. So that is using the place value chart, or HTO. The next strategy I'm going to show you is making a 10. So this is make a 10. And it's really just what it sounds like. You're trying to make 10. One thing that we try to put in their brains is you have to know the friends of 10. So you have to know what numbers add together to make 10. So if I have 80, I'm using the same numbers, 86 plus 49. One of those numbers is closest to the next 10, and you look at the ones place to figure that out. I see that there's a 9 in 49, and I just need one more to get to 50. So I'm going to take 1 out of that number, and what do I have left? I have 85 left. Then I'm going to take 49, this big 49, and this 1, and I'm going to add those together. So 49 plus 1 equals 50. And then I'm going to take 50 and 85, and I'm going to add those together. 85 plus 50 equals something. Now, usually when we do mental math, I talk it through with the kids. So I have 5 ones and 0 ones. 5 plus 0 is 5. So I have 5 in my ones place. And then 8 tens and 5 tens. 8 plus 5 equals 13. So I know that I'm going to have 3 tens and 100. And there's my answer, 135. So this strategy is make a 10. I'm trying to make a 10. So it's so important that we know our friends of 10. That is make a 10. The next strategy is called decomposing. This strategy is one that I think really helps us when it comparatively to the H2O chart. And it's also kind of like the algorithm, the vertical way that we learned growing up. So this is how I set it up. I stack them on top of each other. And then, if you remember, your child learned the different number forms: expanded form, unit form, picture form, word form. We're going to put these numbers into expanded form. So we have 80 plus 6 and 40 plus 9. And we're just going to add straight down. So I have 6 plus 9, which is 15. Bring my plus sign down. 80 plus 40 is 120. Now, this is not correct expanded form on the bottom. So normally I would have the kids turn it into expanded form, which would look like this 100 would go to the hundreds place. So this would become 100 plus, and then we have 20 plus one more 10 is 30, so plus 30 plus those 5 ones. This would be the correct expanded form, and that would give us our answer of 135. 135. Now you could definitely just do 120 plus 15, but to put it back into full expanded form, we would need to do it that way. That is decomposing, where you just break it down into tens and ones. That's all you're doing for decomposing. The next one is arrow way. Now, hopefully I haven't lost you. Hopefully you're still listening. I know this is 7 minutes in, and this is pretty long, but this will be very helpful for you as you're helping your child at home, or just reviewing what they've done in class. So the arrow way, it's not very difficult. It's kind of like using a number line just without a line and using arrows instead. But some students really enjoy the arrow way. All right, so I'm going to start. We have 86 plus 49. I'm going to go through this one kind of quick. So I'm going to start with 86. It doesn't matter which one you start with, because with addition, it just doesn't matter. We start with 86. We draw an arrow. I need to add 49 total. So I'm going to start here. 6 and 4 make 10. So I'm going to do plus 4. That would get me to 90. Now this 4 is a part of this 9. So I have 5 more ones that I will need to add. I'm not going to do that yet, but I will need to do that. But now I'm just going to count. So plus 10, 90 plus 10 is 100. And then I've added 14 so far. So I need to add 3 more 10s. So I'm going to add 30, 130, and then I still need to add 5 more ones. Plus 5 gives me 135. That's the shortened version of it. You could just do plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, like for the plus 4. And then for the plus 30, you could do plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. But this is the quicker way. And this is the way that the kids prefer it. They don't really love doing the units individually. But that's the arrow way. You just use an arrow to show what you are adding. And you can also use this for subtraction. But I'm not going to use it for subtraction. And then finally, the last addition strategy is the vertical way, which is how we were taught as kids. Excuse me. We were taught, you solve it this way, this is how it's done, no questions asked, this is just what you got to do. Now, the way we teach these days, some things are like that, but we have to teach them why they're doing it. They can't just memorize it. They've got to understand why they're doing it. So, we stack them on top of each other just like we did as a kid. But then we talk about the place value. So, one of my students today, I was asking them what I do first, and he said, draw the V thing. So, I draw this to show that I'm adding 6 and 9 together. So those are ones. 6 ones plus 9 ones gives me 15 ones. Then I have to do something with those 15 ones. So this 5 stays in the ones place, and it comes down here. And then this 10 right here, it moves all the way up to the tens place. So now I have a 10 here. Now, you could just put the 5 here and the 1 up here in the tens place. But the kids don't understand where that comes from. And that's why I use this to show them this comes from adding 6 and 9 together. And that's how I got 15. And then I have my tens. I have 1 10 plus 8 tens plus 4 tens. This is not 1 plus 8 plus 4. This is 1 10 plus 8 tens plus 4 tens, which would give us 13 tens. So then, because it's 13 tens, that's not just 13, that's 130. 130. So the 3 stays in the tens, and then I have that 100 that comes to the hundreds place, but I've got to bring that 100 down. So now I have 135. So that is how we teach the vertical way, or the algorithm, or however you want to say how we learned math as a kid. But this is how we teach it in 2nd grade. And really, they don't have to know this. They do not have to know this strategy at all in 2nd grade. But we teach it because we know that parents will teach it, because that's how we learned. So we just want the kids to understand why we're doing what we're doing when we, quote unquote, carry the 1. Because we're not carrying a 1, we're carrying a 10. And they have to know that that is a 10 and that is not a 1. So that is the vertical way. That is all of the addition strategies that we've been working on. So now I'm going to talk about subtraction. Subtraction is the hardest concept that we're working on right now. So we do the same thing with place value, with the place value chart. So we're going to start with, we have 92 minus 48. So these are the numbers we will be working with. So because my whole, that's one thing that the kids have really got to understand, is whole minus part equals part. And that is what we are looking for, is that part. So the whole, we only draw the whole. The whole is the tens and ones only, so I'm just going to draw a TO chart. And I can do that because I'm subtracting. All right, I'm going to start by drawing the whole, 92. 9 tens and 2 ones. And then I have to ask myself, can I take 8 ones away from 2 ones? Is that possible? The answer is no, it is not possible. So because it is not possible, we are going to unbundle a 10. This is where the borrowing would come into play. We learned as kids, you need to borrow from the tens place, so you need to borrow from this 9 and take one of their tens so that you can subtract. But we're not borrowing. We're not borrowing it because we're not giving it back. So because we're not giving it back, we're unbundling it. We're just turning it in from a 10 into ones. So I'm going to unbundle. So I cross out a 10 and I move it to the ones place. So the 10 that was in the tens place is now just 10 ones. And I still have 92. I just have 8 tens and 12 ones instead. So I still have 92. And now this is where I subtract. So I'm going to take away or subtract those 8 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I have 4 left over. And then I'm also going to take 4 tens away. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have 4 left over. So my answer is 44. So that is how we use the TO chart or place value chart for subtraction. The next strategy we're going to look at is decomposing. It is just like the other one, it's just slightly different. So we are going to stack them on top of each other. 92 minus 48. We put our equal signs and we have to put them into expanded form. So we have 90 plus 2, 40 plus 8. Now, the kids do get confused because they see plus signs and they think, oh, I need to subtract. No, you don't. I'm sorry, we need to add. We do not need to add, we need to subtract. So I always have them draw a big minus sign right here to remind them that they're subtracting. The plus signs are only there because we are using expanded form. That is the only reason it's there. It's because we're using expanded form. So now we look at our ones. Can I take 8 away from 2? 2 minus 8. Is that possible? No, it is not possible. So I always use this little saying with the kids. I say, hey, tens, can I have one of your tens? Sure, ones. You can have one of my tens. So, because remember, we're not borrowing a 10, we're taking it from them and just turning it into ones. So, hey, 10, can I have one of your tens? Sure. So this becomes 80, and this becomes 12. So 80 plus 12 is still 92. It's still the same number. It's just in a different form. So now I have 12 minus 8, which is 4. I bring that plus sign down because we are doing expanded form. And then 80 minus 40 is 40. And we put them back together and we get 44. That is decomposing. The next one, we're going to do a number line. We have 2 more. Number line and vertical way, and then we will be done. All right, number line. This is just the normal number line. It's, you just draw a line and do your problems. So we will do 92 minus 48. And I'm going to just draw a line. All right, so there are 2 ways. I'm going to draw 2 lines because there are 2 ways to do a number line for subtraction. We can start with the whole and start on the right side and count backwards, or we could start at 48 on the left side and count forwards until we get to 92. So there's 2 ways. I'm going to show you both. So I'm going to start here. I'll start on this side. I will start at 92. If I'm taking away 48, I'm going to start by taking away my ones. So 92 minus 2, whoops, this is kind of hard. 92 minus 2 would be 90. I'm going to put the numbers down here. And then I need to take away 6 more. So minus 6 would be 84. And then I need to take away 4 tens, or 40. So I'm going to make one big jump and do minus 40. And that would get me to 44. So in this case, we get to 44, and that's my answer. But if we subtract by counting on from 48, it's going to look different. Now, also with a number line, you can just do minus 1, minus 1. You could go back minus 8, the 8 ones that you need to take away. Or minus 10, minus 10, minus 10, minus 10. But this is much quicker. It's more efficient. So that's one strategy. And then the other strategy would be to start at 48 and count up until you get to 92. So when I do it this way, I like to get my ones to where my final ones need to be. So they need to be at 2. So I'm going to count 2 plus 2 would get me to 50. And then plus 2 more would get me to 52. And then plus, I'm going to do it down here, plus 40 would get me to 92. Now here, my answer is down here and I circled it. But my answer is not 92. When I am subtracting this way on a number line, I have to add up these parts. Those parts right there give me my answer. So if I add all that together, I get 44. So that is 2 different ways to subtract on a number line. 2 different strategies. This is not a strategy that we use often, but students are always welcome to use whatever strategy they feel comfortable with. All right, and we have one more and then we will be finished. All right, the last strategy is the vertical way. Now this is how we were taught as kids, but explained a little bit differently. So 92 minus 48. It's the same process. Can I take 8 away from 2? No. I have to be like, hey, tens, can I have one of your tens? So then I ask for a 10. So if I'm taking a 10 from the 9, I have 8 tens left, and the 2 becomes a 12. 8 tens plus 12 is still 92. And we always cross it out and put the 12 up top. So now 12 minus 8 equals 4. I almost wrote an 8. And then 8 tens minus 4 tens. I'm sorry, let me start that over. 8 tens minus 4 tens equals 4 tens. We don't just want to say 9 minus 4, I'm sorry, 8 minus 4 equals 4. Because that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about 8 ones minus 4 ones equals 4 ones. We're talking about 8 tens, 80, minus 40 equals 40. So, those are all the strategies that we have been talking about. If you have questions, please let your child's teacher know. And I hope that you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching.